Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to test the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphone system. Currently it's mounted on my helmet, and I've got a lavalier microphone, a unidirectional lavalier microphone plugged into the transmitter, and the transmitter is in my pocket and the microphone is right next to my cheeks. So I'm going to do this test in sort of three phases. The phase one, we're in phase one right now, is slow speed. So anything up to about 45 or 50 miles an hour is slow speed. I want to see what the sound sounds like, what the audio sounds like. And then I'm going to take it up to stage two, which is medium speed. And that's anything from, 50 miles an hour up to 60 or 65. And then in phase three, I'm going to take it out to the highway and see how this setup deals with the wind at high speed. Now today, the wind speed is about anywhere from 6 to 8 miles an hour. I've been waiting for this day for a few days because in Texas, for at least a week, if not more, it's been super windy with like 18 to 20 miles an hour winds. So yeah, Texas in general is super windy, but the last few days have been, even for Texas average, it's been well above Texas average, let me say. I saw that today's wind speed is only about 8 to 10 miles an hour, maybe not even 10. And I wanted to do that because I didn't want the test to be confounded by the wind speed. So there you have it. Alright, we're going to come upon this red light, and once I turn left on it, I should be able to pick it up a little bit and be in the 50 mile or so range. So we'll see how that sounds. Right now, yeah, it's about 2:30 p.m., 2:21 p.m. and yeah, it's a little windier than I thought. At least the Weather Channel said it's only about 8 miles an hour, but I have a feeling that it's much more than that. I guess it is what it is. I don't have anything particularly interesting to say, and that's really not the purpose of this video. The purpose is to test the audio system as it relates to vlogging in a motorcycle. And so as long as you're able to gauge whether you like this or not, the setup or not, the purpose of today's ride would be accomplished. And so yeah, I'm not speaking too loudly or too softly, just regular voice. Now we're on 407 West. We might be able to pick up speed to about 60 miles or so, a little bit above the speed limit of 55. And I'm just going to keep babbling again. Nothing particularly important, so you don't need to pay attention to what I'm saying, except, is it clear and is the audio system good? So I'm at about 65 miles an hour, 63 miles an hour. So this is phase two, medium speed, and I'm coming up on I-35, and we'll pick up some speed once I hit the highway. So once I get through this red light, I'll be turning left, and I'll be on the highway, so we'll pick up some speed and see how it sounds. Obviously this is phase one, or low speed test. We also did a phase two, which is medium speed test, and I'm calling medium speed anything between 40 to about 60 miles an hour. But once I'm on the highway, I should be able to pick it up to, I don't know, 65 to 75 miles an hour. And then you can even go faster than that, obviously, if you're on the track. I tend to reserve my super high speed kind of motorcycle activities once I'm on the track. It's just not worth it for me to be going that fast on highways, both because it's not so safe, and of course there's always, you know, cops prowling around doing their jobs, giving people like me, if I were to be driving at 90 miles an hour, a ticket. Alright, alright. I'm going to allow this. Alright, so now I'm at 70 miles an hour. Now I don't know if there's going to be any vibration, and if it sounds like my voice is quivering, it's because at this speed maybe the helmet's vibrating a little bit, and that gets amplified somehow by the microphone. But this will be a good test. Now honestly, if it does well at low speed and at medium speed, so phase 1 and phase 2 is what I'm calling it, I'm happy. But right now I can feel that there's a little bit of you know, vibration in the helmet. The receiver is connected to the GoPro via media mod, and the transmitter is actually in my pocket, my jacket pocket, but there's a cable running from the transmitter containing a microphone, and the microphone is right beside my lips inside my helmet. Now, one thing about the microphone is that it is a unidirectional microphone. I did try this setup with a multi-directional or omnidirectional microphone, omni meaning all directions, but that just didn't work because it just picked up all the wind noise and everything from the road, all the ambient noise, and you could barely even hear me, leave alone understand what I was saying. So that didn't work at all, and so I then switched the microphone and made it and tried a unidirectional microphone. So now it's picking up sound only from one side, and hopefully that's, you know, where my mouth is. So I'm gonna kind of go here and pull into the side somewhere where I'm able to move the GoPro camera, and I'm going to mount it on the windshield, as I just said. Alright, so now the camera is mounted on the windshield, and I am about 10-15 feet away. This is one of the reasons I like the GoPro, the Rode wireless Go 2 system. The wireless part is what I like. If it hadn't been for the wireless, there would be a cable running up and down, you know, from my microphone to the camera. But because of the wireless system, I'm able to do this, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to ride now with the mic, with the camera mounted on the windshield, as you can see. And I'm going to take a quick picture of myself as I talk. There you go. And let's see how this works. The main thing I'm interested in is the audio. I used to sell a dual transmitter system, so the way it was configured in the box was that there would be 2 transmitters and 1 receiver, and then that was pretty expensive. I think that was, you know, maybe $300, $299 plus tax. So I didn't want to buy that. But then suddenly, just last month, just recently at least, they came up with a single transmitter system, as I mentioned, and then they dropped the price by over $100. So that made it useful. That made it kind of feasible for me, and so I picked it up. So I'm traveling at about 80 miles an hour, and I have no idea how this sounds. I'm hoping it meets the audio quality test. This is phase 3. In phase 1 I rode it pretty slow, and that was about 45 miles, up to 45 miles an hour, and the audio was great. And that's useful if you're doing, backcountry roads or gravel roads and things where your speed is not going to be super fast. And then I also rode it at medium speeds, so that was about 65 miles, or up to 65 miles an hour, and the sound was fine. But I've never really taken it up to 80, 85 miles an hour with this kind of a microphone, so I'd be curious to see how it sounds. And once I take the exit, I'm going to pull over to the side and shut off the camera, because I think you've already heard what it sounds like at medium speed, which is what I would be doing from this point onwards, medium to low speed. One of the things is I think this is a good place to keep the camera. I wasn't sure where to mount it. I didn't want to mount it on the mudguard, and I wasn't quite sure, what would be a good place, but I just kind of pottered around here and there, and I think this is a good spot for it. So if the audio works well, I think my problem is solved. And if you're looking for a similar solution, hopefully your problem is solved as well. Alright, I'm just going to pull over to the side a little bit and shut off the camera. Gateway Drive.
Alright, so this is the Rode Wireless Go-To microphone system setup. I've got the receiver connected to the GoPro via a media mod, and the receiver can be connected to the top of the media mod or to the side. I find it's better to connect it to the side, because if you connect it to the top, then it interferes, it takes up all that space, and if you have a gloved finger, it interferes with the start-stop button. So I find it's better to install this on the side. And then there's a TRS cable that's running from the receiver to the media mod. So all of this is included. You don't have to buy anything else. All right, and this is how you turn it on. You just press this button for about 3 seconds, and this is now on. So it's ready to receive. All right, this is the transmitter, and it is a wireless transmitter. So if you simply turn this on by holding it down for about 3 seconds, now it's transmitting, and you can see that the gauge here is moving. Now, if you're wondering why not use this without any lavalier mic, I tried that. And even with a windsock or a dead cat on top, just too much wind noise, and it picks it all up, because this microphone, I think, is a omnidirectional microphone. So it just picks up sound from everywhere. So what I found works best is to use this lavalier mic, and or any lavalier mic, but this is a unidirectional lavalier mic. So it only picks up sound right on top. So you want this to be close to your mouth inside the helmet. And then I use this cable. I plug it into the transmitter. All right, and so now it's picking up sound only from here, and you can see that that thing is still moving. One other thing I want to mention is that you can adjust the gain control in the receiver, and I set it as at minus 30 decibels, so minus 30 dB. I just found that that's the best, otherwise it becomes a bit loud, but you can certainly try gain control at other settings and see if that works better for you. But yeah, so you have it. This is kind of my setup, and overall I am pretty pleased with it.